Morning, about 7 on Thursday the 18th of July. It's Thursday day, not Wednesday day today. Had to do some work yesterday, so moved the day off to today instead of yesterday. So time is marching on, and like the plants. But we've had some warm weather last day or two, and that's helped to kick them on a bit. And I think we're hot today. Tomorrow, which is Friday, and then Saturday, not bad, down to about 20, 22 on Sunday. So hopefully that'll move them on. This week I've fed again. We're on to the balanced feed now. They might get another little feed today. This is a Kiwi Gloria, and they will be fine. I haven't gone through them yet. And I'm sort of going to leave those for a bit before I take them down to numbers. But I stopped those at the end of June rather than July, where a lot of the other plants I've done a few at the end of June, and they're the larger plants that you'll see, and then the rest at the beginning of July, and that's when it went a bit cooler and they slowed down. But from a pictorial point of view, it's nicer to see all the plants all at the same stage, much like that row is there, and it makes you feel better for it. But you just have to always bear in mind that when you see like two short plants there, there's nothing wrong with them. They're not weak, they're not chasing with the rest. They're purely plants that were stopped a week later than the others, and it just spreads. Bearing in mind this bed here is all the same variety. So I try to stop half one week and half the next. There's a couple of plants that weren't quite big enough in this bed to stop, so I did a couple in that bed to get the half and half. This bed of Dahlias were all stopped at about the 6th of July, or chopped, and they were all chopped at the same time, and that's why they look like a fairly consistent bed. And I'll go through these hopefully today, take them down to 7, put a piece of string round which just stops the animals creeping through, and they'll be quite happily marching on from there, I hope. Bearing in mind we want to start trying to find a few buds, certainly the 1st and 2nd of August for the bank holiday weekend shows. The giants are doing alright. They're all down, keeping them to put a couple of shoots through that haven't made it inside the string, but they're doing okay. And again, there's a variable, it's been the other bed, range of shoot sizes, which is really what I want. I don't want them all at the same time, and I don't really want to be knocking them about. This Mary's, again, this row was done end of June, and are in advance of the bed that was done at the beginning of July, which is the whole point. Now is Trisha doing well. These are the plants that we took down to below ground, or anything above ground, and we've got shoots. I just have to tuck them in. 1, 2, 3, there's 4, there's another one coming up down there, and periodically you've got to check these, because the ones that come from underground and you think that's great, got them, and then they start throwing up extra shoots that are just a bit later than others. But again, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on that one, and they're all very low down or underground shoots, so I'm happy with that. The ones that I took off of the side stem, which were only tiny shoots, but sort of should have known what was going to happen, and they're definitely in advance of the others, and I think that's going to be a positive, because some of the others, like these, I may well struggle to find buds for bank holiday. This row we're all done off the stem, and we've got some buds forming. So that's fine, we can deal with that. We'll just knock that stem down. It's quite a nice powerful stem. We'll knock him down, there's another one there. And just delay the individual stems as they come. And I will try and aim this row for that bank holiday spot. Those are a couple of Sandia Gold spare plants that went into 7.5 litre pots to sell them at work. But I've got a couple of plants here that are really just not happy with. There's a few that I'm not happy with, but there's a couple I'm really not happy with. Like that, perfect. I'd really be happy if they're all in that sort of frame. There's a few shorter ones. Some of the mottling is going on some of these, which is good. But we've got some like that, which just, I really don't know. I don't think it's just virus, but there's something not right with them. That was a late replacement, and there's another one there. So I'm just going to hook them out and put those two plants in their place, just at least there's something in the hole. But there is a few, there's a few that are fine, and hopefully those are show me what the flower is like and how good the variety is. I'm not dispelling the idea of growing a water lily, but maybe this isn't the right variety. As you can see, I've got a lovely crop of corn coming from the straw, which is fairly easily dealt with. I just grab the straw, lift, and it tends to just dislodge the roots. I go along pulling each individual one out. Just do that, especially a sunny day like today. They'll dry off, and I just do that as I go up and down the rows. These are yet to be festled through and tied, and hopefully clear that up in one sweep through the plot. We've seen the giants. The same with bright and softer gleam. A slightly bigger gap between these, but not much I can do about that. And the green sward is there. We've got some plants like this, which would have been the end of June stops, and they've got the odd bud in there. So they get probably just removed if we've still got 7 breaks left. I haven't gone through these yet. That's today's job as well. Some lovely big plants, which are again the ones that were stopped earlier, and then these ones were all stopped after. So I'm hoping to start off with these ones, and then roll on to the rest. So really the national time would be the 2/3 of the plants rather than the earlier 1/3 of the plants. And it just saves a bit of time knocking about. And this is another one. This is Skelmersdale Jane. This is probably the most advanced plant, and there isn't buds yet, but they won't be far behind, and I'll end up knocking them back. So if I chopped all of them at the same point at that same time, one, I lose the insurance policy of having a few later flowers, but they would all probably come a bit too early, and it would involve quite a lot of work individually timing or knocking back each stem, and time is something I haven't really got. Palm's looking good. They've had their first tie, and again we're just starting to get the odd bud, and all I do is, as I see them now this early, I go quite hard and I just remove the bud and at least the next pair down, leaving shoots there for them to come on. I think the plant is not going to be quite bushy enough, because there's not huge amounts of breaks on these yet, but I knew I'd have to go through them again. If I feel the plant isn't quite bushy enough, then I'll go a bit higher, so more shoots are produced. If I think it's fine, I'll go a bit lower. It just evens them out, and it won't be long before this just becomes a hedge of shoots. And they're good. I'm pleased with them. They're exactly as I would want them. Nice even batch of plants. So they've had the first tie, and they're good, strong, healthy. Go at the twilight. 40 plants of them. That'll keep me busy. So today I'm just going to water, feed on a couple of varieties just as an extra feed. Swap those 2 plants out, and try and get rid of the green haze from the beds. Normally you can do it once and it's done. You don't have to revisit, or it's just odd bits thereafter. Got my radio, gives me company, and I've got my balls of string, so I'll see you at the other end of the day. About 4:30 in the afternoon now. Oh, long day. Nothing's changed for the Kiwis, but I've managed to get through all the beds and anything that was stopped. The end of June has now been taken down to numbers and tied up. I've managed to get rid of the green swathe that was growing through the straw. That's the last path I did. Just pull it up, leave it there like that, and it just dies off. He hopes. I've certainly tidied it up. Went through the water lilies and replaced the 2 plants. It's just a bit cleaner, tidier and cared for until the next full day I get. So it's just watering and feeding now. I all got fed today, but till about next Friday I think it's my next day off. Some work changes, so just keep ticking away until I can have a good crack at it, where I'd hope to then take down all the remaining plants down to numbers, have them tied up, because we'll be pretty much looking for buds the week after, and I'd like to at least be at that stage. See you later. Well, it's Thursday, not Wednesday, so it's Thursday Dahlia day, not Dahlia day. Had a work commitment yesterday, so I had to move my day off. So, sunny week, I've seen some sunshine, and the plants are moving on. This week they've all, where they can be, been taken down to numbers and the first tie put on. As you can see, and I've had a good go pulling all the barley straw that's trying to grow through the straw out and freshened up. They've all had a good feed as well today. One came between 3 plants of a balanced feed. Poms are looking particularly good now. See you next week. Thursday the 25th of July. What a difference a week makes. I think it's really moving along. Still probably not as quick as I thought it would, or would like it to. I mean, these are the Dahlias that I tied up last week, and the strings, as you can see down there, about there, were just about holding the tips in within the framework, and now they're well above. It's just a couple of hours in the morning this morning, 5:30. I've got work today, day off tomorrow, so I'll have a good go at them tomorrow. But everything is, this is the Nose Trisha. Better take a few buds down on those. Mary's Giants. A couple of buds coming in those now, which is good. I'm going to want some of those soon. And everything else is moving along. This is the Skelmersdale Jane, and now just pushing up from the ground, and the earliest plant has got buds in, so they're probably about a week before I want them. And the poms have gone through and just sort of removed some buds, but they're fluffing up again, so things are moving on. We'll come back to this tomorrow, where we're at and what's going on, but yeah, a difference a week makes. Saturday the 27th, managed to creep out for a few hours in the morning. Spent 8 hours yesterday, managed to get on top of things. Just doing a little bit more this morning. Going to tie the poms up and just fettle through one row of Marys that I'll be trying to secure buds on about Wednesday. So everything, gone through all the Dahlias, they're all down to numbers and tied. Obviously we've still got the earlier batch and the later batch. These have all been done, and there's somewhere in between really, which isn't a bad thing, I suppose. Realised that I needed to secure a few buds yesterday for giants for bank holiday weekend, so I went off hunting for buds. Unfortunately, I only found about 8. There's plenty coming in the tips, but it won't be a wash with giants for the bank holiday first shows. Mary's, this is the row that's in advance of the other, so I'm going to just go through that, make sure I'm at numbers. I tend not to worry with Mary's until very much later in the season, even after I've took a few buds, and then go through and count up and aim around about the 16 with a little bit of rough at the bottom. Narrows, I've been dinking back, a bit more than a dink, but knocking back, and in some cases give myself choices as to where I might go. That's got a small bud just sitting in it, that's probably a bank holiday bud, and that one soon after. So when I come to go through and secure the buds, which will probably be about Tuesday, I'll see what's about naturally. If I can get enough without having to resort to these up here, then I'll just take that off and let that one develop. If I need to, I'll go to that one. And generally this row was the one that I did normally, and they're well in advance of obviously the rows, that one and that one that are set to, and are all coming from, you can see, underground. So I've got to try not to be too disappointed if I haven't got the size in these, because I wasn't expecting it. Hopefully I'll have the size in those. Still a disappointment. If every plant was like this on the Sandia Gold, I'd be a happy man. It's a cracking plant, healthy, no issues. There's another one there. It's about half a dozen, but there's some real poor in betweenies, and they've only got a few more days, and I should be starting to pull those out and put them in the bin, because they're never going to produce a decent flower, and just leave the ones that have got half a chance. Gone through this bed of Mary's. These were all stopped a week later than the row behind me, and I'll probably secure buds on there on Wednesday, but I've knocked them back to try and get a natural follow on after that row, so hopefully sort of start off Abercorn into Kent and National. Most of the flowers that come from these two beds, and that one would have petered out. The rest of the giants did manage to get some buds up here on Bryn. As I say, not many. Next time you'll see a video after this one will be when we're securing buds, which will be next week. This is all just about getting the plants ready so I can concentrate on side shooting and securing the right numbers as and when I need them. Softer gleams, again quite a distinct difference between the earlier and the late plants, but hopefully I can run one into the other. And I don't like growing Skelmersdale Jane, not from a cultural point of view. It's a bit like a lettuce. Just getting them down to the 9 up was always an unpleasant job. Once they're to numbers, they're fine. This one's done, and again I've been messing about with some buds that have come on that one. That's probably the earliest plant of the lot. Hopefully today I'll have time just to go through the poms again, and any obvious buds like that either pinch out or go harder down and put a second tie on, just to sort of bring them back in again, and just push them up. Probably in another week's time they'll be above the canes, and I can work on them easily without bending too far. But there's a good hedge there, and I'm happy with those plants. I shall probably do the Glorias early part of next week, or around taking buds. I'd like to have them done before Wednesday in an ideal world, so that might be a Tuesday morning job. We'll see what happens. Right, see you later.